This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our victorious Cincinnati Bengals.
Can't miss player. I really do. A lot of people think I'm crazy. I think when he gets on the field, he's going to produce. He's going to produce at a high level.
They are almost unbeatable in December and January.
We're on another level. Thank you.
And I am going to become the first Bengals broadcaster to call a Super Bowl title. It's happening.
Yes,
It's happening. It's here.
In a row, Mon. 10 in a row. Hooday, Bengal fans. He is Mon. Eric, I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse, the heartbeat of our Cincinnati Bengals. All right, guys. Well, we obviously all know the news about Joe Burrow. We're going to be talking a little bit about Joe. Obviously, start getting you guys prepped up for Vikings Bengals coming up this Sunday. We're going to talk injury reports, a little bit about the game. Going to start obviously with the big news, and that is the Joe Burrow news. But before we do, Mon, how you doing, bud?
Good. I am good. I am still getting over the Joe Burrow situation, upset about it. I shaved my mustache because my mustache belonged to Joe Burrow. And he's hurt. And Jake Browning, if you want this mustache to come back, there's two things you got to do, young man. You got to win. You got to win, and your fancy girlfriend's got to keep on making them videos. Okay? But you got to win. That's the most important
thing.
Right?
Those are the only two things.
Win, and his whatever girlfriend, wife, she makes some nice, entertaining videos. She's a nice young lady. But the most important thing is you got to win. The mustache is coming back for you, but that mustache belonged to Joe.
Oh.
Remember that.
That's how we're starting. That's how we're starting the night.
It was at the 146 mark of tonight's podcast where Mon got kicked out of his house.
Heather must not be home, or
she just walked in the door. She just walked in the door. It's all good.
I believe they're some of our biggest fans, so they're yeah. Good luck, Mon.
All right, so Eric, how you doing, bud? You good?
I'm still recovering from the Joe Burrow stuff. I'm still recovering from the trip. I'm ready to go crash and sleep, and work's been busy. I'm still recovering from Mon's comments. I don't know if I'm gonna have to clip that up or what, but we'll see where we go from there. It's been a busy week. Ready to get into talking some Bengals football. I did talk this a little bit after the show last night, but on the drive home from Cincinnati, the most random thing ever in Atlanta. This car kind of cuts me off, goes all the way over to the exit lane, I'm about to say, what the gee golly willikers, what was that guy doing? I see on the back of their window, and they have this big etched sticker that says Browning. And I know there's some brands out there that call Browning, but I looked at Austin, I said, Austin, that's a sign we're going to be okay. Because out of nowhere, Jake Browning, Ford Explorer, cuts me off and goes off somewhere into Atlanta. So we're going to be okay. The sign came from the Atlanta gods. Browning is going to take us to the promised land.
Let me share a quick story. I worked at the fire department the other day, so my shift was over, and I'm waiting for the crew to come in and relieve me. One by one, 4 guys walk in limping. Making fun of Joe. They all had turf toe. Giving me the business. And I didn't think it was funny, but that was their way of jabbing me. But it's all good. Let's get on with the show.
Karma is real. Karma is nasty. You tell those guys karma is real. And you never mess with that.
You just got to tell those guys too soon. Come on. I am a little disappointed, though, that the end of our intro starts with Mon and Jake high-fiving. We didn't have our high-five game down in Cincinnati. I was up and down, hugging my kids every time we got a touchdown. Mon was a little out of it once Joe Burrow went down. I couldn't really get good high-fives in there, so even though we won the game.
He's not a great high-fiver. That was a once in a lifetime high five I got from Mon in the intro.
I didn't AI that or anything. It
Guys,
was
I'm
all
so old.
authentic.
I don't high five. I do this stuff. Remember that? Remember how they used to do that back in the 70s?
No,
I don't.
No, we
no, we
don't.
don't
Tell
remember
us about that. Do you want me to pull up the 70s graphics that I've been working on?
Oh
Mine doesn't
gosh,
high five.
10 minutes.
Raises the roof. Before we get kicking off, we already have a super chat from Nandan, so appreciate that. In
Thanks,
Jake
man. Dan.
Browning we trust, who day?
Yes,
That's where we're gonna go. But
we have to.
before we we have to. But before we do, let's get into this. This is like okay, this is kind of like therapy. I equate this to being out on the golf course when you're golfing and you're football, anything, but golfing it's really relevant. When you hit a bad shot, I tell the players, I tell my son, I tell myself, you have, if you're walking or if you're riding the cart, you've got from the time where you're hit the ball until you get up preparing for your next shot. You get to be as pissed off as you want to be in those 30 seconds or 2 minutes. We're in the point here. This is going to be our pissed off moment. Let's have a rant. Let's get it out. This is a final show that we can complain and be pissed off about Joe Burrow being injured. So let's get our final rants out there and let's move on to the Jake Browning promised land. So I'm going to go to Mon first. Mon, tell me why this pisses you off and go deep dive into all the reasons that this just sucks.
I think it's preventable. 6 years in the league, 3 injuries that have caused him to miss significant time. I'm not here to blame one person, one organization, one coach. It's a mixture of everything. Joe he has no fear. I hate to use the word reckless. I hate to use the word hero ball. People have used that. He holds on to the ball. He wants that explosive play. He wants this team to win. It's a very, I appreciate that about him. That's what makes him the quarterback I love. That's why you guys love him. That's why the Bengal fans love him because he's fearless and he's a leader and he wants us to win. He'll sacrifice his body for it. But that's where the coach has to come in and be the head coach. He has to be the head coach. Guys, 2 years ago, when he was injured and Jake Browning came in, Jake Browning won 4 out of 7 starts. That's good. We're going to talk more about that in a few minutes. But the deal is this. I saw a lot of people I respect on this app on Twitter, people that, Twitter GMs, guys I respect. They said Zach Taylor can finally run his offense. Can finally run his offense? Last week, Jake did what he did. We got a win. I saw similar people tweeting the same thing, insinuating the same thing. Are you trying to tell me that Joe Burrow, a generational quarterback making over $250 million a year, Zach Taylor can't run his offense with him? Does Joe Burrow have that much power where he tells Zach Taylor, no, I don't want to do this? I don't know, guys. I know this offense is going to evolve a little bit. It has to. Jake Browning's a different player. But the elements that are successful with Jake, we need to incorporate more with Joe and protect him a little bit more. What Whitworth said in that article from The Athletic, he blamed Joe for being, a little reckless. He didn't use that word. He blamed the organization. They could have, added some players, but he said it's lazy to blame the offensive line. He says it's lazy. He says it's the hardest blocking scheme in the NFL. It is the hardest. It puts those guys in a highly, failure rate because, they're blocking with it's just a tough scheme to block for. I'll read the quote here in a little bit. But for Whitworth to say that, and he was actually praising the Bengals organization for trying to improve the offensive line. He wasn't going after the Bengals front office. If anything, he was really targeting Zach Taylor and his scheme. That's got to evolve. And it is going to evolve with Jake Browning. But when Joe gets healthy, they got to do something about that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think Mon said it all. Really, I mean, this is an issue where again you have from multiple. There's no blame to be thrown around here. I said it on the last show. I think the offensive line gets blamed for all these injuries because Joe is hit so many times. Right? We see multiple times where the O-line does not do a good job of maybe picking up a blitz or blocking an edge rusher, and Joe gets he gets hit. Maybe he gets the ball away. Maybe he doesn't. This situation and even the wrist situation, both of those situations, I think they're hard to blame the offensive line because they are a little bit of, I don't want to say freak things, but they are. I mean, let's be real. The turf toe situation, I think Zim today in our text chat, he texted us and we talked about it on the show. Like, there's a very low percentage of turf toe injuries that end in surgery, like what happened with Joe. It was a freak thing. Again, yes, the pocket collapsed, but there's bodies on the ground. That's football. Joe's running around trying to make a play. The guy grabs his ankle, trips him up. Again, it wasn't like he took some kind of a depleting shot like he took maybe against a Myles Garrett the week before. So, and then the wrist thing, obviously. I mean, that again, that was a freak accident, a very rare injury that we don't ever see in the NFL. And so I do think it's hard to blame the offensive line, but I think it's easy to blame them because of how poorly they have played in the last 6 years that Joe has been in this league. And then I think you look at Zach, and again, I think Zach Taylor needs to do a better job of scripting out this offense and not just letting it go. I think if you're going to be an offensive coordinator, number one, you have to be creative, but number two, you have to make an identity for your offense. And I don't think this offense really has ever had an identity. I think it's been Joe is an elite quarterback, probably the best quarterback in the NFL. And it is, let me just let Joe go out there and be Joe. Well, that's great, but obviously that doesn't get you as far as you want to get. And, and we haven't seen it. We've seen a very lackluster run game from this offense. Again, another way you protect your quarterback is to run the football. We have not seen that at all. We've seen a very poor.
Excellent point.
Yeah, we have seen a very poorly schemed run game, and I mean, I don't think since Joe's been in the league, any of us can say that the Bengals have been able to establish a run game. They haven't. Joe Mixon. Yes, Joe Mixon had 1,200 yards. How hard is it to get 1,000 yards in the NFL nowadays? Not very hard. That's not taking anything away from Joe Mixon, but I think we can all say there's been no consistency running the football when Zach Taylor has been calling this offense. And again, you want to protect your quarterback. You do that by, yes, building a good offensive line, but you also do it by being creative, throwing some misdirection out there, going under center, running play action, and running the football. And we have not seen that from Zach Taylor and this offense, Mon.
Can I read the quote real quick? That's excellent point, Jake.
Yeah.
This is from Andrew Whitworth in the Athletic article. Great article. Without question to me, I think it's the hardest place to play offensive line in the NFL. There's no question. I think it's the most difficult job in the entire NFL to block. My point is not that it's a bad philosophy. It's just that you don't see it that often. And there's a reason, because you're putting your guys in a tough position to lose a lot. It's a tough place. I mean, somebody put it in the chat here. It's like the run and shoot offense, Mouse Davis back in the day.
Yeah.
Guys, I think the problem with us Bengal fans, we want Madden stats. Last year we had Madden stats. We had unbelievable production from our skill players. We didn't get to the playoffs. I know there was multiple reasons. I get it. The defense was poor, this and that. Jake, you just said something perfectly. The run game. Joe Burrow in 6 years has had one rushing attack. I think that was in the mid-20s. Every other rushing attack stat for the Bengals was bottom 3, bottom 4 in the NFL. I mean, that's not a recipe for success. You have to be a little more versatile. I don't want them to be a check down team. I want them to turn into the Ravens, but they can evolve a little bit and do a little bit more. I think they're very predictable. You're going to see, I mean, Jake Browning doesn't have the talent of Joe Burrow, but this offense is still going to be productive. And they're going to be doing things that they didn't do with Joe because, Jake Browning can't do what Joe can. But I think they're going to be efficient. And for the life of me, I just don't know why they can't incorporate some of those concepts with Joe.
Well, and let's be real. Let's look at these top offenses, right? That are consistently in the top tier, and their teams consistently are winning. The Philadelphia Eagles, right? They run the football. That is not a Jalen Hurts offense. That offense is Sirianni's, and that's how it is, right? That's the offense we're going to run. We're going to establish the run. We're going to build a great offensive line, and we're going to not put our quarterback in bad situations unless you run the tush push, 12 times a game. Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes, those Super Bowl years, he's not running around throwing the ball 50 times a game. He's not. The offense is creative. They find ways to get their guys the ball. They run the football with, when they had Pacheco had that big year, the Super Bowl year. I mean, they find ways to do it. I hate to say it, but the Baltimore Ravens, again, I hate the Ravens and everything about them, but they set Lamar up for success, right? They run the football, they establish the run. Again, Joe Burrow does not get even a team like the 49ers, who have gone to a couple Super Bowls. They run the football, right? Creative offense. They run the football. They establish a run. They're not asking Brock Purdy to throw the ball 50 times a game. Again, Joe Burrow is the best quarterback in the NFL. And there's no doubt if anybody can drop back and throw the ball and be consistent with it, it's him. But you cannot win Super Bowls throwing the ball 50 times a game.
Eric, one quick. Hey, T. Brookie, nobody's throwing Zach Taylor under the bus. T. Brookie. Our starting quarterback has been the most hit quarterback the last 6 years under Zach Taylor. Why doesn't Zach Taylor learn from Sean McVay how to run the ball and diversify an offense? All right, I don't dislike Zach Taylor, but our starting quarterback's been injured 3 times in his 6-year career, missing, big parts of those seasons. All right, yeah, I know some of them are freak injuries, but you know what? He's been pummeled. It's been a mixture of things. It's some on him, some on the offensive line, and some on the play calling. That's just a fact.
Yeah.
So, and this will be my last rant on it too. I'm not going to throw him under the bus, but I do put a lot of this on Zach Taylor just because of the offense that we run. We have Joe Burrow, Superman. We've got Jamar Chase, obviously, second Superman. We've got T. Higgins, an amazing Batman to the Superman out there. We've got these great players, and I think Zach is spoiled, and he designs his offense expecting those guys to win rather than scheming an offense that has free runners. We saw the Rams do this with Jared Goff. We saw the Lions do it with Jared Goff. They're still doing it. Their offensive plays just have players wide open. Joe Burrow doesn't get wide open receivers unless his wide receivers win. That is not a sign of a good offensive playbook. Jake, if you're coaching out there tomorrow night and you design a play that requires your sophomore wide receiver to just demolish another guy, is that a good play? No. You're going to just scheme up plays that somehow get that guy to be open, running where he can catch it and run. Zach Taylor relies on Jamar Chase and T. Higgins to win their one-on-one matchups every play. Rarely do we see somebody that's wide open just because the scheme got him wide open. That's what I want to see out of Zach Taylor. The other thing, the other rant that I will have and say this is the reason that we're not where we want to. Joe Burrow is a generational quarterback. But you know what? Tom Brady was a generational quarterback. But you know what he had? He had a Hall of Fame head coach that would stand up to him and say, no, we're not doing that. Maybe Tom Brady would override him, but Zach Taylor never once says, Joe, this is a basically a one read option. If Jamar's not there, throw the damn ball away. I want Zach Taylor to step up and tell Joe Burrow, manage the game a little bit. If it's not there on this play, your line is not going to win for 3 seconds. You don't have a second option.
Jake,
throw it away.
let me ask you a question, Jake. I know it's different levels. I get it. And I hope people follow me here. If you had a 5-star recruit high school quarterback on your team, the best in the state, one of the best in the nation, you're going to devise an offense for his strengths, are you not? I mean, you would. I mean, you would devise, but at the same time, you're the head coach. You're going to protect him. You're going to do things. I mean, he's not going to sit there and say, "Coach, I need to do that." I mean, that's all I'm saying. I don't know. It's just.
Well, I do think this is what we can say about Zach Taylor. Yes, I agree. T. Brookie, the guy got us to a Super Bowl. He got us to another AFC Championship. I don't think Zach Taylor is a bad head coach. I want to make sure I'm very clear about that. But we can all say this: his offense is extremely predictable. That is fact. It is fact. His offense is very easy to scheme. Again, that's why the consistency is not there all the time. So, I don't think Zach Taylor is a bad head football coach, but I don't think he is a good enough offensive coordinator in this league. And I think that's fact. I don't know how you can argue it otherwise. Yes, we had a great offense last year. We had a great offense because we have the best quarterback and probably 2 top 10 wide receivers on this team. That's why we had the best. It's not like because we ran the football and there was consistency. That's not why we had the best offense.
The Cincinnati Bengals will never win a championship if they don't develop a running game that other teams respect.
Yep.
T. Brookie, you just gave the stock. That's exactly what you just typed in there is exactly what Zach Taylor said to Paul Dehner's question. Paul Dehner asked him that question. You could tell Zach Taylor didn't like it. All right. Yes, he's had some success. Great success. I appreciate that. I think he's a good coach. His mentor in Los Angeles has evolved as a coach. He runs and passes. He told his quarterback, I need you. You can't sacrifice your body. Read the article in The Athletic. They address all the big things. It really covers it. Talks about, it's just a great read, guys. And I'm telling you right now, it makes me sick to my stomach that our generational quarterback is out for basically the year.
Again.
So, before we move on to talk about some of the game things, just the final thing on this is why we're so upset is we are going to see Zach Taylor change because he's got Jake Browning out there. We saw it last game. We saw it 2 years ago when Jake Browning had to come out here and play. That's what upsets me the most because Zach can step up and implement his offense when he wants to, but he doesn't stand up to Joe Burrow and tell him that this is what we're going to run. You're going to be under center, learn how to figure it out. He doesn't go out there and run pass options where we're run blocking on and Joe has the ability to check to a pass. Offensive line needs to be supported. They need to go out there and punch some guys in the mouth. There's a couple comments before we move on that I wanted to throw up here. Let me just pull them up real quick. We do have a super chat from KP from KC. KP says, we're a run and shoot offense in cold weather climate. If Joe gets a run game, it's over. We're not in Florida in December. This is such a great point. And this is so much frustration and Mon's frustration with this is everybody in the world knows if you give Joe Burrow a successful running scheme, it's game over. So that should be priority one. Get some run blockers, get him a great running game because it is game over. That's just frustrating. So thank you, KP. And then I did have
Great question.
Jennifer had a question out here too, and this is a big one too. If Pitch, what's Pitch's role? Is he actually helping create some of these plays? Is he in Zach's ear? Again, we saw this with Callahan, and it really feels like Zach Taylor is just the smartest man in the room. Obviously, we don't know how that interaction goes before they're calling the play, but Pitch has got to step up and design some better plays, and Zach's got to call them. You guys, have any thoughts on that?
I'm not sure Pitch is capable. I'm not sure we'll ever know what Pitch is capable of because, again, we saw the same thing with Callahan. Zach Taylor he wants to call the offense. There's not a lot of wiggle room when it comes to that. Again, I want to make sure I'm very clear. I'm not bashing Zach Taylor as a head coach. His play calling is not – it has not been good. It just hasn't been good. There's a large enough sample size to look at it and say there's never been a run game. There's been no creativity in this offense in 6 years. Nothing. So I think it's very easy to say he is not a good offensive coordinator. Again, I'm not bashing him as a person, but Pitch, I'm not sure Pitch has a lot to do with what's being done. Obviously, I know he's the pass game coordinator and all that, but and I know they let Callahan. I think he was like I think he was the red zone coordinator and the passing game coordinator and all that. But again, Zach Taylor, and he's I mean, we're gonna find out how good of an offensive coordinator Zach Taylor is, because he's gonna have to adjust now on the fly with Jake Browning.
I think Pitcher is going to be a head coach soon. I really expect the Bengal offense to do really well with Browning, and that's going to elevate his spotlight on him. And I think he's going to get a lot of interviews, and I think he's going to eventually become a head coach. I fully expect the Bengal offense to do well. I do. I think they're going to run more because they have to, because Browning doesn't have the talents of Burrow. And you're going to see some success. Guys, it's not personal. I think Zach Taylor is a good coach. I think he's a bad play caller. The Athletic, I know I keep on. They interviewed the National Athletic, not Paul Dehner, but the national crew, 30 NFL executives. 30 NFL executives were polled and asked who the best play caller was in the NFL. Zach Taylor didn't get one vote. 30 NFL executives, 3-0. Guess who got one vote? Guess, guys. The head coach for the for the Jaguars. Think about that. Liam Cohen got one vote as best play caller in the NFL. But that takes probably the credibility of that panel out. But still, I'm saying Zach Taylor didn't get one vote.
Think about
wasn't
this.
he the play caller for the Buccaneers?
He was. He was.
So he has a track record.
Listen, I said it after the game. I think Liam Cohen's a good play caller. I think for 3.5 quarters, he did an outstanding job on Sunday. He did. It was creative. They were moving guys across the line of scrimmage. There was a lot of motions, a lot of screens. They were getting their players the ball in open space. I thought he did a good job. Listen, I think, Mon, the biggest thing is when you say something like that is that look at how good the Bengals offense was last year, and Zach Taylor didn't get one vote. That's crazy. That's crazy.
You know why? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That's just because they can't run the ball. I mean, they can't run the ball. They just can't.
They are explosive because we have two guys that are generational talents.
Yes.
And we have another guy that's a top 10, top 12 receiver. They are that special. They are that special. How many explosive touchdowns did we have? Over 50 yards last year. Think about that. This Bengal offense is something, you're not going to get 50, 60, 70-yard touchdown passes every year. You have to evolve. Guys, I'm telling you, Sean McVay, what he has done in his career, he gets it, man. And you know what? And Zach Taylor was mentored by him.
Don't listen. Eric does not like you talking good about the Rams and Sean McVay.
No.
Eric does not like that, Mon. You know that. He doesn't like that. Whether he's good or not, Eric does not.
I was so excited to see a Sean McVay offense come to Cincinnati with Zach Taylor, because Sean McVay designed plays so that his quarterback was throwing to open wide receivers. If all Zach Taylor ever did was call plays that have our quarterbacks throwing to open wide receivers, we would win back-to-back Super Bowls. I don't care who our quarterback is. But we design plays that require superhuman throws to wide receivers that are covered or just slightly open. Design plays that get your players open. Show me that you know how to scheme an offense, get players open. It's easy. You know it, Jake. It's easy. If your players are open, Lamar Jackson has one of the highest passing completion rates to wide open wide receivers because his guys are always schemed open.
Well, let me say this too, because everybody's talking about Chase Brown. Yes, Chase Brown was 10 yards short of 1,000, I think, last year. Guys, getting 1,000 yards in a 17-game schedule is not hard to do. Again, I'm not a math person, but you basically have to rush for a little over 50 yards a game. Am I right? Is that right?
So you're going to make us call you out on your math here?
I don't know. I'm thinking, right? 17, 50, maybe 60 yards a game. I don't know.
Oh, you're not bad. 58.8. So you're not bad.
Look at that.
Chase did most of that in about 10.
It's like it's a human calculator up here. My mind is like a human calculator.
the people that think that we're bashing the offensive staff for the Bengals, I'm predicting mine's hot take. Dan Pitcher will be a head
Oh, I
coach
don't have one of
next
those.
year. Dan Pitcher's going to be a head coach next year. And I believe Zach Taylor is going to get a
Ooh.
lot of votes for play calling because I expect this Bengal offense to do very well with Jake Browning. I really do. So for all the people saying, hey, I'm anti this, I expect this Bengal offense not to be as electric as, with Joe Burrow, but I think they're going to be productive.
All right, we're going to move on, but I'll throw this out there. Will Dan Pitcher bring Jake Browning with him to wherever he goes? Because that could absolutely happen.
If the Bengals make the playoff, win 10, 11 games, Dan Pitcher will be a head coach next year. Mark it down.
Yeah, he was a candidate a couple years ago, too.
But if he wants to take Jake, he's going to have to give up some capital because Jake's got 2 years on his contract. So he ain't taking Jake.
Technically, this is his second year. This is his second year this year.
But he's still a restricted free agent, so he will have to trade something.
Okay, let's go.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think we should move on. Let's move on to we're going to get into predictions here a little bit, but let's talk about this matchup. Originally, we go into this thinking this is Burrow versus JJ McCarthy, Burrow versus Brian Flores defense, Burrow versus the great offensive line, and so much so this was hyped up so much so that we have Tony Romo and Jim Nantz on the call this weekend. We're the flagship game for CBS. And instead, they are handed Jake Browning versus Carson Wentz. Now, I'm all for Carson Wentz, North Dakota boy that's come back to play for his favorite team. But I hope we get the Carson Wentz that allowed us not to get in the playoffs last year. So let's get into this matchup, guys. What are your initial thoughts on how it's going to shake out? Jake, you want to go first?
Yeah, I mean, I think first of all, if there's anyone that we'd want to be playing this week, it's the Minnesota Vikings, right? The Minnesota Vikings, obviously, we all know the story back from 23. They cut Jake Browning. Jake Browning obviously still has a personal vendetta against them. So if there's anybody that we could choose to play, it would be the Minnesota Vikings, right? For Jake Browning's first start of the season. I think the matchup right now is Jake Browning versus this Flores defense. And I like this matchup for the Cincinnati Bengals. I think the Vikings are a team that are very disorganized and look like they're kind of in disarray. And right now they're banged up, right? JJ McCarthy, I could care less whether he played or not because I don't think he's very good. But Aaron Jones being out, Darashaw, again, he didn't practice today. He was full yesterday. So the Vikings are a little banged up right now. Bengals, we're looking at it here. We saw Cam Taylor-Britt did not practice today with a hamstring. DJ Turner was new on the injury list today with he went limited today with a hamstring as well. Logan Wilson looks like the ankle is good to go. And then obviously Shamar, we already know Shamar is not playing this week with a possible high ankle sprain or just a bad ankle sprain. But the Minnesota Vikings are banged up, and there's a lot of guys that are limited right now. Again, that could change tomorrow. But I think this all comes down to Jake Browning versus Flores defense. And I think Jake Browning is playing for a contract. I think this guy is very capable of starting in the NFL. Rich Eisen even said on his show, like, listen, don't count the Bengals out. Jake Browning could start for a lot of teams in the NFL, and he really could. I actually went through when I saw that. I went through and kind of made a list. And I came up with like 12 or 13 quarterbacks that I think Jake Browning is better that is starting right now in the NFL. So I do. I am a believer in Jake Browning as much as I see the poor play in the preseason from him. The dude is a gamer. He is a gamer. We saw it in 23. We saw it last Sunday live. All three of us saw that live. with him taking that football game and carrying the team. And I'm a believer in Jake Browning. I'm maybe it's me just being depressed and about Joe Burrow being out again, but I do think Jake Browning is a gamer, and I think this team believes in Jake Browning as rough as it is right now with Joe Burrow's injury.
I'm gonna go clip up the post game for the preseason, and I'm gonna have you debate yourself when you say Jake Browning is trash, and then you'll say I'm a believer in
I
Jake.
just said it.
I'm gonna match those up for you.
Eric, you don't have to. I literally just said those exact words. I called him out in the preseason because he was terrible. Listen, I didn't go as far as Mon. Mon said the Bengals should keep Ritter over Jake Browning. I did not say that. However,
I was on medicine. I was on medication. I started a new med.
He was all high on his Joe Burrow mustache.
I did say that Jake Browning. I did not think he looked
Eric
good in the season, but the guy's a gamer.
This is documented elderly abuse. You're making fun of me. I was on medicine.
All right, so.
Okay,
let me just go through this Vikings list real quick of players, and then I want to get Mon's thoughts on the game since Shank gave us most of his thoughts. Their center, Ryan Kelly, is in concussion protocol. JJ McCarthy is out. Their star left tackle, Christian Darrisaw, hasn't come back from his ACL injury yet. He went practice yesterday, didn't practice today. Andrew Van Ginkel is concussion protocol. Harrison Smith is out with an illness. The big one here, Justin School is their backup left tackle. He's in concussion protocol. So if he doesn't play, then we're looking at a fifth round offensive tackle playing, who from the reports from their own podcasters, he's not very great. So the Vikings are very, very banged up here.
And Aaron Jones on the IR.
And Aaron Jones is out. Aaron Jones is on the IR. So let's go to Mon for your thoughts. Mon, I'm going to kick it off with seeing how banged up this offensive line. Is this a 3 or 4 sack game from Trey Hendrickson? And give us your thoughts.
It's going to have to be. They're going to have to get a lot of pressure, especially if our defensive backs nicked up there with the hamstrings. Listen, this isn't rocket science. Every player on this team has to play better. They have to give 10, 15% more effort. Every coach on the Bengals staff has to coach better because our marquee quarterback is gone. They all have to play better to help Jake. The game plan has changed to beat the Cincinnati Bengals. It's not, running the clock, keeping the guys on the bench. I really think Flores is going to send multiple blitzes. He wants to rattle Jake Browning. Remember, Jake Browning, when he started those 7 games, did really well, except against the Steelers. When the Steelers pressured him, that defense absolutely stifled him, and he threw a lot of interceptions. The games weren't close. That's what they're going to do. This coaching staff has to protect him. The Minnesota Vikings, small sample size in 2025, in 2 games they've given up an average. They're averaging 168 yards on the ground. Their defense is giving up. They're 30th in the NFL against the rush. If there's a game where the Bengals rushing attack needs to take off, it's this game. So hopefully Chase Brown, hopefully Taj Brooks gets some carries, and hopefully they can establish the running game and help slow down that pass rush, because Flores is going to send everybody against Browning, hoping he gets an interception. We've got to win the turnover battle, guys. That's the key. Win the turnover battle. And the Bengals have a chance because Minnesota is nicked up. I will say this. I wish they would have won last week. I wish Minnesota would have won because they lost at home. Now this is another game at home. It's loud. It's going to be hard to beat a team back-to-back at home. But I think our Bengals can do it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. I think when you look at this Vikings team, they had to come from behind to beat a very bad Chicago Bears team, right? I mean, JJ McCarthy, this offense for the Vikings has had one good quarter. In 8 quarters, they've had one good quarter on offense. And that was the 4th quarter against the Chicago Bears. So the Vikings have not put out a very good sample size over the last 2 games of what we expected to see from them, right? And then obviously defensively, I don't think this is about stopping the run so much as it is not letting Justin Jefferson beat you, right? He's the best player on their offense. They have one guy that is a serious dude, and you cannot let that guy beat you. You got to take Justin Jefferson out of the game and force Carson Wentz to go through a progression and even run the ball. I feel comfortable enough saying that the Bengals can win if they force a team to run the football. So, but more than anything, guys, this is about Jake Browning. This is about his opportunity now, and those guys don't get a lot of them. So hopefully Jake takes it and runs with it. I am a believer. I believe in Jake Browning. I think he'll do well.
I honestly think this is not about. I think Jake Browning can absolutely do it. I think this is 100% about Zach Taylor. Zach Taylor, if you lose this game, you should not have a job because they are lining it all up straight for you. Their
Woo!
quarterback is out. The quarterback that is in there playing has only been with the team for 2.5 to 3 weeks, doesn't know the full playbook, and is a journeyman in the NFL. Their offensive line is battered, and you have the best defensive end in the game. They have one receiver that you can easily take out, just double him as much as possible. You have everything handed to you on a silver platter. If you lose this game, it's all on you. You can't go blaming Jake Browning because it is on you. Everything is handed to him. This should be, yes, we're going into a loud stadium. But we should be expecting that, and we should be able to come out there and we should run a good offense, score some points. Our defense is going to get turnovers. It may be a high scoring game, but everything is there for you, Zach Taylor. If you don't win this game and go 3-0, then I am going to lose some faith in this season because this is it. This is the one that you should be winning. This isn't like we're going up against a fully staffed Vikings roster. They are depleted. They are coming off of a bad loss. Go get it. Go get it, Zach Taylor. Go show us that you can coach, and we'll shut the hell up.
Hey, intervention, calm down.
Hey,
Flip it and
Brucey,
send it to him, on. I didn't shave my mustache just because of it.
It
let's
belongs
go
to Joe. It
let's go
belongs
to
to
I'm
Joe.
Brucey.
I'm really we're literally creeped out about that. But let's get on here again. We did this week one. We're gonna do it again this week. We're gonna
Hey,
go
wait,
into
Eric,
some.
Eric, let's do Brucey B's super chat real quick because
Oh, I didn't see that yet. I'm trying to get us transitioned here.
that is a good question. I think we need to talk about for a couple of minutes here. Does 9 play? Does 9 play if we make the postseason? I say he will play, and I think he's actually going to play before the postseason. I think Joe Burrow, if the Bengals are in it, will be back when he can be back.
I think the question, yeah, I agree. If Jake Browning leads us to the playoffs and then Joe is cleared to come back, you have to play Joe.
Oh,
You think so?
Some people are going to go,
okay.
oh, stay with the hot hand. You have to play
No.
your $250 million quarterback.
No, you have to play Joe.
Yeah. I think that if Joe can play, he will play, even if we're not in the playoffs. He's going to be out there. But there is something to be said. If Jake Browning is going out there and having a similar year that's huge hypothetical. But Jake Browning puts up numbers like Joe Burrow put up last year, and he's clicking. Can you really say? Nope, you're pulled. Joe Burrow's in there. I think Joe Burrow is in. He's the backup at least for a first game or two, but I don't think you can just automatically say we've got to hobble Joe Burrow, go out there and win us the game because Joe's
I
going
mean,
to do what he does.
he wouldn't be hobbled, right? I mean, if he comes back healthy,
Well, okay, so
you
there's
know.
been so many doctors that we've heard talk about this. 3 months is the earliest he can come back. He is not going to be on that leg for at least 6 weeks. His leg is going to atrophy. When he starts doing rehab, I'm thinking January playoffs is the earliest that we would see him. And then, Jake, you're a quarterback. You haven't thrown the ball for 3 months. Are you going to be perfect? Are you gonna be able to put it right on spot?
Well, I mean, I never played in the NFL, but I'm assuming in the NFL, those guys are going to he's going to get opportunities to throw the football. You know what I mean?
Right, but
It might not be mechanically sound as far as the footwork goes, but I think Joe Burrow. We've seen Joe Burrow rehab injuries. The dude, as soon as he can, that dude will be in the gym getting ready. I completely believe that Joe Burrow is going to do everything he can to get back this season. Now, you're right. I mean, it is going to be interesting if Jake Browning plays lights out, and let's say the Bengals win 12 games, and Jake Browning, we're at that point of it all, and I think it'd be very interesting to see what happens. But I'm with Mon too. Like, how do you not play Joe Burrow? I mean, the guy is. Go ahead, Mon.
I just I think the chances of him playing this year are slim. They're not zero. A doctor on like one of the ESPN, one of the local radio stations said it today. If everything goes without any missteps in his rehab and his healing, 3 months is doable. But we'll see. Like, January would technically be 3.5 months. I don't know.
Thanks.
We'll see.
So
He's having surgery tomorrow.
yeah, so that was going to be my point. That is the first thing that has to go right is he's supposed to have surgery tomorrow, and that's only if the swelling is at a point where they can do surgery. So first box that we have to check, if they go to do surgery tomorrow and he's still too swollen, now we're pushing out another 3 days. So the first thing we have to get through is it's got to have surgery tomorrow, got to go good, and then we start that clock. So we'll see. We got to move on here. We're already 47 minutes
Brucey.
in.
Appreciate you, man.
Appreciate that, Brucey. Let's get to what everybody came here for.
AFC North predictions.
All right, guys, we're sticking with that. We're gonna once again we're gonna be here Sunday for you. We're at 12 o'clock. We're gonna be here for 20 to 25 minutes to give you a good pregame show for the Bengals Vikings. So we are not gonna go and give you our score predictions for that game. That's gonna be saved for Sunday. But we are going to talk about some of these other AFC North games. We are going to go first with the Steelers at the Patriots. Hey, we buried the lead here. We haven't really talked about this, but the Bengals are in the first place in the AFC North. 2-0 for the first time in Zach Taylor's career. 2-0 in God knows how long.
Let me
Steelers
go
lost.
first on this.
Okay, take it away.
I got to give some credit to my partner, Jake. He picked the Seahawks winning over the Steelers last week.
Thank you, Mon.
Good job.
I was going to say that.
Even a broken clock is right twice a day.
That was good. And you know what? Finally, he's been in a slump. He got a take correct. Good job. I'm joking.
Right.
That was
Right.
good. Listen,
I got to come up with a
that
Mon's
shocked
hot
me.
takes now.
I was sitting there and I was looking at the score at the game. I'm like, holy cow, man. Seattle's putting a whooping on Pittsburgh.
We do need to keep track of Mon and I's like records. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know I'm in first. I'm in first. I know I am.
Not first. What are you talking about?
I want to talk about the mustache more, but that's next week. Here it is. Steelers at Patriots. Patriots are going to win this game.
Yes.
Vrabel has changed the attitude there. They're tough. And Pittsburgh, they should have lost first week against the Jets.
Yes.
I think the 60-yard field goal. I mean, that's crazy stuff. The Patriots are going to win this game. I think it's going to be 20-14. Patriots are going to win. Steelers are going to be 1-2.
Yes. Yeah, that's why Mon wanted to go first. He wanted to be the first one to pick the Patriots because he knew I was going to pick the Patriots.
I was trying to give you props.
I have the Patriots win this game 24-10. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers are just not what they used to be. And I agree with Mon. I think the Patriots are a tough out. And this game in New England, I think the New England Patriots win this football game. And honestly, like Mon said, the Steelers should be 0-2 right now. They're sitting at 1-1. But by the way, the Steelers have given up more points than anyone in our division. They have given up 63 points in 2 games. The Ravens and the Browns have given up 58 each, and the Bengals have given up 43 points. That Bengals defense playing great. Patriots win this football game. Steelers suck.
Is that the score that the Steelers get? They just suck.
That's the
Suck is
Which one's
suck
up?
means -0. So okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they're holding in a vacuum. All right. Packers travel to Cleveland to face the Browns. Jake, you want to go first since Mon got to go first last time?
Oh, that's sweet. I mean, listen,
I could
listen.
retract that.
The Green Bay Packers are going to absolutely throttle the Cleveland Browns. This game will not be close. Packers, I'll say Packers 35, Brownies. I'll give the Factory of Sadness 10 points. So 35-10, Packers over the Factory of Sadness.
This game has trap written all over it. Packers traveling. They're a very good team playing in Cleveland. Cleveland's at home. They got a good defense. I think this is going to be really hard for the Packers. I expect a closer game. I'm going to say Packers 24, Browns 7.
Where's the trap in that?
Yeah,
How
there's
many
no trap
how
in
many
that.
Only
points does
24.
Micah Parsons get?
Only 24 points
That
is
all of that
is a struggle.
that whole speech, and we got 24-7 out of that shit. Are you serious?
20, they should score 48. 24.
Mon's got
Jordan Love's
two
going to have to
fourth
run some
quarter
laps
touchdowns
Monday.
from the Packers.
Jordan
So who
Love's
takes
gonna
over
have to
this?
run laps.
Who wins this game? Micah Parsons or Myles Garrett?
Oh, Micah Parsons. Let me tell you right now, the Browns defense is good, and I will give them props where they deserve it. But I'm going to tell you right now, the Green Bay Packers might have the best defense in the NFL this year. They are nasty. They fly around the football. Micah Parsons looks like he has gotten a whole new lease on life in Green Bay. He looks like he did those first couple years in Dallas. This Packers defense is nasty. And like I said, I think they're the best defense in football. I gave the Browns 10 points because I figured the Packers will have their backups in by the third quarter.
Until we play them, Jake calls them the best defense in the league.
Oh, no.
Moving on.
I will still call them that.
This is a big matchup. Monday Night Football. The Detroit Lions. Once again, somehow the Ravens get a primetime game at home. Imagine that. Detroit Lions at Baltimore Ravens. Monday Night Football. Mon, who do you got?
Again, you just said it right there. Playing in Baltimore in prime time is hard. If I'm not mistaken, did the Lions play the Ravens last year? I need to look that up because I think they did. Yeah, I think it was one of those scheduling quirks where they actually played them. I'll look that up in a few minutes. But
you're talking about
here.
I don't think they did though, because that would have meant that we would have played one of the NFC North teams, right?
No, but you always play one wild card team when you have 9 at home or something. It's a weird situation. And I think they did play them, or it might have been the year before. Regardless, it's not.
They did not play them.
Okay,
they did not
the
play them
before
last year.
So yeah.
Well, the Ravens will win. It's playing in prime time. I think playing in Baltimore is such an advantage. It's going to be a shootout. I expect a score like 31-28. I think the Ravens are going to win this in prime time in Baltimore.
Okay,
Yeah.
Jake, tell us what score you have the Lions winning by.
All right, so the Lions. Let me say this. The Lions are a bad matchup for the Ratbirds. They really are. They're a bad matchup for the Ratbirds. This is a team that can throw the football. They have weapons on the outside. Again, they don't have Joe Burrow, but they have a very good passing attack, which the Ravens struggle against. Say what you will, but I'm not going to mention names, but there's some overrated Ravens on the back end of this Ravens defense. The Detroit Lions are going to win this football game. I do think it will be close. I'm going to say 27-24. The Detroit Lions win this football game. This is a big game for the Lions, guys. Again, they're going to have to keep pace with the Green Bay Packers. So this is a big one for the Lions, just like it is for the Ravens. The Ravens and the Steelers are both going to be 1-2 after this weekend is over. That's going to be crazy, right?
That would be fantastic. I did look it up, Mon. Lions played in Baltimore 2 years ago and lost 38-6. So yeah,
Yeah.
they got that matchup in Baltimore as well. It'll be interesting to see. I know the Bengals offense always clicks against Baltimore, but it will be interesting to see a Lions offense against that Baltimore defense. We are told that their defense is so good, but I want to see what the Lions scheme up against them. Lions don't have Ben Johnson anymore, but I think they put up over 50 points this last game. So the Lions are still capable. I want to see what a great offense looks like that against that supposed defense to really see what we're going to come up in quite a few weeks now. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Eric, can I say something real quick? Can I ask you guys a question? Did
It's
you
your
guys
show.
did you listen to Dan Horde's? It's our show. Did you listen to Dan Horde's
Yes.
interview with Jim Nance?
Yep.
You guys, Jake, did you hear it?
I did not know.
Okay, but he brought up a good point. Best case scenario, Joe Burrow comes back in 12 games, mid-December.
Mm-hmm.
That's 12 games from now. If Jake Browning can win 6 of those 12 games, we're 8-6.
hmm
I think that's feasible. I think
That's what I said. I said that on the last show.
I think it is doable. I'm sorry. I was depressed.
Jim Nance got his take
I
from me
think,
because he listens to the Pulse.
yeah, I think they could win 7. You know what if they win 8? Listen, it's going to take a team effort. Everybody's got to play better. Everybody's got to coach better.
Let's not forget this. Let's not forget this. I know we got to go, but let's not forget this. We have a couple tough ones coming up, right? I mean, obviously going to Minnesota, it's not going to be easy. That's a hard place to play. Going to Denver, not going to be easy. Coming back, playing Detroit, not going to be easy. Going to Green Bay, having to play Green Bay, not going to be easy. But after that Green Bay game, you have the Steelers. I don't know the order. The Steelers, the Dolphins, the Jets. You have the Bears. You have 4 or 5 games in a row that I don't care if Mon Abelhassan is quarterback in the Bengals, they should win.
So let me give it to you. Let me give you the order because the Dolphins should be there. Mon's got superior genetics here.
I was third
mustache or
team.
not?
I was third team honorable mention quarterback in Lebanon. I was a machine.
Okay, so let's go through. We're hypothetically we beat the Vikings and we're 3-0. We then play the Broncos, Lions, Packers. So that's 3 straight tough games. But following that, we have the Steelers at home, Stripe the Jungle, Thursday Night Football, followed by the Jets, Ring of Honor game on Sunday, followed by the Bears, followed by a bye week, followed by the Steelers and the Patriots. We don't have another game that we really could lose or should lose or won't be favored until Thanksgiving against the Ravens. So we get through this murderer's row. That's why we have to win on Sunday. We have to go 3-0 because those next 3 games are not promised or they're not locks.
Yeah.
You could easily drop 2 of them. You might drop 3 of them. We start 3-0, we come out of this 3-3. Well, then you're going to be looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 straight wins if you do your job. So you're sitting there at 8-3 going into Ravens, Bills, Ravens.
At a minimum, we have to win 10 games. At a minimum,
Yeah.
I want to win more. I had us 12-5. I had us 4-3 after this murderer's row going after the Pittsburgh game. Then the schedule slacks off a little bit. Then it gets hard again. We have to get the 10 wins at a minimum.
So that's why you have to win this game to go 3-0. Because if the Bengals just win the games that they're going to be favored in, you have 11 wins. After that stretch of Ravens, Bills, Ravens, we follow it up. We end the season with Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns. That's 3 more wins. So we have to go through this because if we get to 3-0, then we win all 5 of those games we're supposed to win. We've got 8 wins. And then if we drop to the Ravens, Bills, and Ravens, we've got Dolphins, Cardinals, Browns. You're sitting at 11 wins. Win the games that you're going to be favored in.
We have to win 2 of the next 4. I really think we got to find a way
to win
2 of these next 4.
I agree. I agree.
And you know what?
Yeah.
We're a professional football team. You know, I
Yeah.
know we talked off script. We don't want to keep on repeating things. I'm going to repeat something. I'm sorry. We got to dominate at home. We got to.
Yep.
We can't go 3-5. We have 9 home games this year. We have to be a force at Paycor. These Lion games. A lot of fans that I spoke to are already writing that game off. Hey man, it's the NFL. Can't write any game off. You can't do it.
Listen,
Yeah.
this Bengals offense is talented enough to win with Jake Browning. It is. It is talented enough to win with Jake Browning. It is.
Well,
But like you said, Eric, and I know I'm repeating myself, but like you said, this is a situation where Zach Taylor has to show how good of an offensive coordinator he is. I think he's a very good head coach. I want to see how good of an offensive coordinator he truly is, and we're going to find out here, for the rest of the season, really, if we want to say what it is. And I think honestly, let's be real. If things go south quick, I don't think Zach Taylor should get a pass on this season. I don't think Zach Taylor should get a pass on this season. I mean,
no, because you're proving that it's not Zach Taylor, it's Joe Burrow. So how the hell can you give him a pass? Because you've proven that it's not Zach, it's all Joe. And if that's the case, Zach's got to go. It is what it is.
Eric is not a Zach
If
Taylor
Joe Burrow
fan.
is the only
Let's hope it
reason
doesn't
we're
come to
winning
that.
these games, then we don't need Zach. I'm sorry.
You know
If your offense is Jake, if you're only got to the playoffs because of your star quarterback and your star receiver, then there's no reason that Jake Owens was coaching that team last year. That's not the case. You played multiple quarterbacks. You schemed things open. You had a good offense. That's the reason you won the championship last year, because you knew how to coach young men and make them play football for you and run through a brick wall. Zach has to show us why he's a coach in the NFL.
The Bengals head coach next year will be Zach Taylor. You know why? Because he's going to salvage the season.
I think so.
We're going to get to the playoffs.
I think so.
And Dan Pitcher is going to be the head coach of another football team. Guys, that's what's going to happen. All right. I still have my limitations with this. I think he's a limited play caller. I think he's a good leader of men. I think he's a good offensive coordinator. I mean, developing game plans and things. Maybe not. I just don't think he's good at play calling. That's just my opinion. I'm just a fireman. It's just my opinion. Okay. But I just think he's going to be our head coach next year, because we are going to have success this year.
Listen,
we are.
Yeah.
Listen, I think you have to look, and I know we got to get out of here. I think you have to look at Sunday. And you saw a guy, we were there, guys. You saw a guy in Jake Browning who stepped into that offense. He made some mistakes, but when he stepped into that offense, it wasn't like, and what a tough situation, right? I mean, you guys all heard it. When Joe Burrow laid back down in the stadium, there was like a huge, awful.
Mon didn't stand up again.
It was like a huge, awful sigh. 60,000 people all together were just like, "You've got to be shitting me." And you could hear it. You could hear it in the stadium. What a tough situation for Jake Browning to have to go into. Not, those backups guys don't get a lot of reps during the week. I'm telling you right now, Jake Browning has made me a believer. I know I was negative on him. I will not deny that. But that dude coming into that situation against a defense that was flying around the football, that played really well, Jake Browning is the reason we won that football game, guys. He is the reason we won that football game with some good plays on defense. But Jake Browning is the reason we won that football game. And not a lot of backup quarterbacks in this league. I'm going to tell you, nobody but Jake Browning probably gets that done on Sunday. You have to believe in this kid. I'm telling you, he is a gamer. He is a gamer.
We haven't really had a chance to talk about it. We've spent so much time on Burrow and Browning and Zach Taylor. I want to tip my hat to Jordan Battle. He's playing some good football. Jordan Battle is playing. He's playing really good football.
Yeah.
And this defense giving up a lot of yards. They're still developing, but they're making key plays also. They're getting better every week. And let's just keep on having that because you know what? We need them to be better. Every player on this team has to play better. Every coach has to coach better. All right.
Yeah, well,
We're good.
let's get out of here. But you do tip your hat not just to battle, but the defense. We're going to go into that on Sunday in our pregame show. Everybody join us 12 o'clock. We'll be here live for you 12 o'clock Eastern. We're going to go for, I don't know, Mon, are you having subs this Sunday? Is there pizza, subs, or are you going to
I
have
actually had
crackers?
I had a bad phone call from my cardiologist today, and I am not going to be eating a lot of crap. I'm going to take care of my diet. I mean, I do have advanced genetics, but my diet has to get better. So we'll figure out the menu on Sunday.
I'm not sure you know the definition of advanced genetics if that's the case. Heather, if you're
Celery?
listening, Heather, you have owed me a Carvel ice cream cake for the last 12 weeks.
Hold on. Jake, you could bring the cake, you know.
It's
If
better
you
when
expect
Heather
us to
makes them.
win, you could bring the cake.
It's better when Heather makes them. I don't make them as good as Heather.
He doesn't care about my calcium score, my cardiac calcium score. You don't care. I'm going to have some Carvel cake too.
Listen,
about the diet next week.
if any of the Bengals cared about Mon's heart, they wouldn't play like they do on Sundays. They would go out and just dominate the game. So Bengals, I know there's at least 2 Bengals that are watching. If you care about Mon Albahassen, go out there, beat the Vikings 42-3. Mon's heart needs a good easy game.
Jake Browning, I want the mustache back. Play football.
No,
Win
Jake
game.
Browning needs like a full man chew, a full Mon chew.
It will happen. And the video
Okay.
thing from the girlfriend works good too. So let's do mustache.
All right, we are getting out of
Heather,
here.
we do not support this message. Jake, get us out of here.
That's another edition of the Bengals Pulse. As always, guys, if you like this podcast, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this podcast. Make sure you check us out on all the awesome podcast platforms, Apple, Stitcher, Spotify. As always, guys, follow Mon on Twitter at TheFireMon. Follow me on Twitter at Coach Jake Owens9. Follow Eric on Twitter at eFlash with 2 H's 88. Follow the Winston Podcast Network on Twitter at WinStattyPod. And as always, guys, follow the Bengals Pulse on Twitter at The Bengals Pulse. The same on Instagram without the at The Bengals Pulse. Make sure you check out all the awesome podcasts right here on the Winston Podcast Network. And if you like this podcast, give us that 5-star review. We very much appreciate that. He is Mon, Eric, I am Jake. This is the Bengals Pulse. Hoo day, Bengal fans. We will see you Sunday at noon.